Hello everyone, you're welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the steps involved in my daughter's wash day routine, from pre-pooing to shampooing, deep conditioning, and then putting the hair away in preparation for our next hairstyle. So stay tuned and keep watching. For the detangling and pre-pooing step, I use my rat tail comb and a mix of avocado oil and almond oil. And I always work in sections. I part the hair in sections of about 8 or 10. And then I work with each section at a time. So here you see me applying oil on the first section. I try to smooth it into the hair, and then I start to gently detangle with my fingers. You will notice that I use a lot of finger detangling as opposed to using combs and brushes. And even if I have to comb the hair, I always make sure I first go in with my fingers just to make sure that I detangle as much of the knots as I can before I go in with the comb. I find that it helps to really reduce breakage as opposed to just going in directly with a comb when it's tangled. Properly detangling your hair before washing it is very important. There's a lot of hair that's lost when you go and start shampooing your hair with tangles in it. The tangles will just get like exacerbated, and before you know it, you're losing a lot of hair. And since we're trying to keep as much of our hair as possible on our head, we're gonna try to make sure we detangle properly before we go into the shower, okay? So I'm putting the hair into twists, and that's what I'm going to do for all of the other sections. So here we are done with the pre-pooing step. Now it's time to go into the shower. Before we go into the shower, I wanted to show you real quick the product that I use for cleansing. Until recently, we've been using this Cantu shampoo and conditioner for kids. It's great, it's a non-sulfate shampoo. But recently, we started using hair grease in our hair, and because of that, I find that there's a lot more buildup, which the non-sulfate shampoo doesn't really cleanse properly. So we're using this clarifying shampoo by Taliah Waajid. It's really good. It has a stimulating effect, as you can see from the name, and I'm going to provide the name in the description box. And the second one that we use is this Auntie Power Wash, and it has a moisturizing component to it. It's also great. I always start with the Taliah Waajid and end up with Auntie. So here is a Taliah Waajid shampoo that we're starting off with, and what I usually do is put it in an applicator bottle and dilute it with a bit of water because it's so thick, and then I add a few drops of this tea tree oil. You see me holding here because I find tea tree to be very great for the health of the scalp. And here I'm showing you the Power Wash shampoo by Auntie. The first thing that we do when we get in the shower is just soak up the hair with a lot of water. So pour down the length of the hair, make sure that it's really soaked. And this helps also in just taking out some of those, just like a preliminary cleanse, if you know what I mean. Just remove some of that oil that we use during detangling before we go in with our shampoo. So I use the applicator bottle, as you see there, to apply the shampoo. It makes it really easier for me to really get the shampoo onto the scalp. And then I go section by section. Really make sure to scrub the scalp properly, thoroughly. And then I try not to roughen the hair up too much. And if the twists unravel when I'm done with the section, I just twist it back up. The goal in this step is to try to keep the twist in as much as you can. because we don't want the twist to unravel and then the hair gets tangled, and then we have to detangle again when we are done with shampooing. So here I'm fast forwarding a bit, but I just giving you just the gist of the shampooing process. You just go section by section, you apply the shampoo, you scrub the scalp, you wash the hair, and then you twist the hair back up if it unravels. You rinse, and then you go in with the second application of the shampoo. That's pretty much it. And because I'm washing in sections, it usually takes a while. To be honest, it takes some time. It takes longer than if I were not doing it in twist, but it's really worth it for me because it ensures that my longest detangling session is the one that I do just before I get in the shower. So when I'm washing or when I'm applying deep conditioner or any of the other steps, I'm trying to keep the hair away from tangles as much as I can so that I don't have to do it all over again. The longest detangling session should be just before we get into the shampoo step, and after that, even if we have to detangle, it doesn't take us that long because all through the shampooing process, the deep conditioning process, we try to keep the hair in the twist as much as we can to avoid unnecessary tangles and knots forming. So we finished the 2 shampoo applications on one side, and then here we are on the other side. I think we're rounding up here. This is just the final rinse, making sure that you properly rinse out all the shampoo from the hair. And you might see me unraveling the twist at this point just because I want to make sure that it's really clean, that I haven't forgotten any product down there around the roots of the hair. But the hair is still, you know, it's not tangled up, and that's the important thing. I'm trying to keep my sections before we move into the deep conditioning step. So when we're done washing, I just take a towel and lightly soak up the dripping water from the hair. I'm not aiming for like totally dry hair, just soak it up a little bit. And here we are in the deep conditioning step. I'm using a deep conditioner by Auntie. I'm going to put the name in the description box. And like I mentioned before, yeah, the twists are unraveled here, but the sections that I had in there are still pretty much intact. They're not neat, but they're there. I know where they are, so I'm just going to take one section at a time and apply that deep conditioner down the length of the hair. And I'm using my fingers at first. I go in with the product, I rub it in, combing through with my fingers, as you can see there. Just making sure that there are no tangles, which they're not going to be a lot. In fact, there were not really many tangles because, like I mentioned before, we were washing in twists. We kept the hair straightened. We didn't put any tangles in there. So this is where you really enjoy the benefits of washing in twists, because you get to this point and it's so straightforward. You apply the product and just concentrate around the ends of the hair because that's the oldest part of the hair, which needs more nourishment. Make sure that you really work the product into the section, and then you end up with our favorite, the twist. Yeah, so I'm just going to fast forward a little bit here so that we don't waste any more time. So you can see we pretty much maintain the sections that we had at the beginning of the shampooing step, and I'm just applying the deep conditioner on the rest of the hair. And once we're done, we're just going to put on the shower cap, and I'm going to use a heat conditioning cap. I always use heat for our deep conditioning treatments. Heat really helps to it makes the product to be really absorbed into the strands, especially when you have hair that is more on the hair that's like tightly coiled like ours, 4C hair they call it, right? So I always use heat, and even if I'm not using heat, I just make sure that I put on I can tie a plastic bag on my head and just walk around the house all day. The body heat generated is going to ensure that the product really gets in. And so here we are, we've rinsed off the deep conditioner, and we are rounding up real quick here. In rinsing of the deep conditioner, I unraveled the twist, but like I said, the sections are still in there because I didn't like rough up the hair or anything. Just rinse off the product down the length of the hair. There's no scrubbing involved, just rinsing. So the sections are still intact. And I removed some of the water just because I don't want the hair dripping wet. So this whole process has taken about 2 hours already. And you know, kids, they get tired, they get bored, they want to move on to something else. So our wash day is usually just that. We don't try to install a new hairstyle on the same day that we do the wash. I'm just going to moisturize the hair here using this my Cantu cream and my Shea Butter mix. And then I'm going to just do simple plaits, following the same sections that we had at the beginning. Remember I told you those sections will help you. And I'm just going to work the product into the hair, comb it through. I'm sorry, we're going out of view here. You just comb it, moisturize the hair, rub the product in. That's what I meant, sorry. Comb it through, and then I just install the plaits. I don't do twists because they unravel easily, as you would have seen. And sometimes when you do these plaits, I don't know about you guys, and sometimes as a busy mom, you might not be able to get to installing the actual style until about 2 days later. So this really helps me. I mean, it's not super neat or anything. The pattern is just whack. Everything is as it is, but you know, putting the plaits just helps you to forget about it for a while. And then you can install the new style when you had time, when all of you have had time to rest. So that's what we're doing here. So we're just going to follow our sections that we had at the beginning. Moisturize, and then that's it for our wash day routine. And that's it for our wash day routine. Yay! I know it was a long video, so I really appreciate you for taking the time. Please subscribe to my channel, like and share, and see you next time. Bye bye.